want to export our image from CorelDraw or Photo Paint as a JPEG, it's quite easy to do. Go up to File, Export. The hotkey is Control-E. Select a name here. Call it whatever we want, but let's just call it Test for now. Say Export. Now, once you export the file, you get a second dialog box up. And we have a couple of different views here. We have our single view. I can click here and we'll get two different types of compressions. Here's the 100%. Here's 80%. You can see the difference in the file type, or the file size. This file size is 2.75 megabytes. This one's 640K. So that's really about maybe 4 times less on the file size. This one's one over the other, and then this one's a 4 window. We'll just work with one because typically when you're exporting, you sort of know. I would always suggest to do 100%. If we're doing web images for the web, well, then you may want to run it down around 30 or 40, and you may want to have the split window just so you can see what it looks like. But for what we need to do, we're always going to run at 100% quality. Uncheck the anti-alias. Don't need that on. That's only for web graphics. Notice here I've got 100% for quality. I can put in whatever I want. I'm going to use 100. Notice down here the file size is 3.33 megabytes. And if you really want to, you can actually select the different settings for your internet connection, which would give you some download speeds. But as I mentioned, we're really not concerned about generating images for the web, so we're really not going to worry about that. So I'll just leave that alone. I typically just embed the color profile. It's really not too big of a deal as far as the file size goes. And from there, we're just going to say next or say OK. And we're done. There you have it. Typically when I'm doing photographs, I'll try to use the highest, we'll typically save it as a JPEG and we'll try to use the highest quality that we can. File size isn't that big of a deal unless you have to email it. And then again, if you have to email them, we've got to be a little bit more careful as to the file size. But if you are going to save as a JPEG and you are going to laser engrave the photo, always export it out and use the 100% quality. One note, when we are working with JPEGs, do not constantly save them as JPEGs, because if we save them as JPEGs, they'll be constantly compressing, and over time our image will degrade to the point where it won't be usable anymore. So what you want to do is import the JPEG into CorelDraw and then save the file inside CorelDraw and do manipulations there.